Stadium in St. Louis, Missouri. The finale of the three-game series between the Pittsburgh Pirates and the first-place club in the National League Central Division, the St. Louis Cardinals. Busch Stadium. This is where the Cardinals have won all 5 games of their series here. And, of course, the Pirates have done well at PNC Park against the Cardinals. But you take a look at the standings right now. The Pirates are 7 back of the St. Louis Cardinals. And the Chicago Cubs won again today. They're only a game back of the Pirates when you talk about the wild card. But the Pirates still have their sights set on a division title. Greg Brown along with Bob Walk. And, Bob, in order to win the National League Central Division, they have to start some winning games within their division, and especially against these St. Louis Cardinals. This is a big game tonight.
It is obviously a very important game. There's no getting around that whatsoever. I can't really say, though, it's a must-win, because if you lose, yeah, you're down by 8, but you can't throw in the towel. You still got to come back out. You got to start fighting again when you get to New York. So maybe not a must game, but an extremely important game to try and cut it to 6 before you leave town.
You'd love to get off to a quick start against Lance Lynn, who will be on the mound for the St. Louis Cardinals. And this guy's been getting off to a quick start a lot this season, especially in the first 2 games of this series. Gregory Polanco is 6 for 8. He's been on base 7 times.
Yeah, he was really hitting the fastballs very well first 2 nights. Last night we were watching him hit Walker's fastball. Walker just kept feeding him to him one right after another. He just kept hitting line drives all over the place. And tonight he's going to see a ton of fastballs from Lance Lynn. That's just about all Lynn throws.
Well, a guy that has normally been hitting second behind Gregory Polanco much of the season anyway, Starling Marte will not be in the starting lineup. Our Allegheny Health Network injury update. This was his first at bat last night against Michael Wacha. Ben Potenziano, the assistant trainer, went out to check on this left hand. He stayed in the game. He had another at bat. Was kind of disgusted when he popped up, and this would be his final at bat of the night. He left with a bruised left hand. He's listed as day-to-day. Clint Hurdle said possibly he could pinch hit tonight. It's a shame that he's not in the starting lineup, because he is a .381 career hitter against Lance Lynn. Meanwhile, for the Buccos on the hill, the lefty, Francisco Liriano, will start for the Pirates. He will be going up against Lance Lynn. We'll talk Francisco Liriano in the Lou coming up next. Pirates and the Cardinals getting ready to play ball. Francisco Liriano on the hill as he warms up in the bullpen. He has had good numbers overall against the Cardinals, especially here at Busch Stadium. 4 career starts, not including a pretty strong National League Division Series start in 2013. He's 2-0 with a 1.38 ERA here, Bob.
Yeah, he really does like to pitch here in this ballpark, and well, that's just what we're looking for right now. After the first 2 games gone the Cardinal way, you want somebody out there that can maybe really go out and dominate tonight. And Liriano has certainly done that here in this ballpark. It all comes down to can he spot that fastball, and can he get those chases on that slider?
And back to your pitching comment, take a look at what's happened since the All-Star break. The Pirates have not been pitching as well as they were. And of course, there are some other reasons behind just these numbers, but we've talked a lot about the errors. That will certainly go a long way if they can improve the defense.
They're definitely leaking some oil right now. They need that good defense to be played behind them. And even when you're pitching well, you need that. But another thing, obviously, is AJ with his injury, and then a couple of starts before he went on the DL, he wasn't pitching well. So they're mixed into those after numbers also. But good night to get that turned around.
Lance Lynn, 9-6 on the year, will make his 16th career start against the Pittsburgh Pirates. He is 5-4 lifetime against the Bucks with an ERA of 4.74.
Yeah, we hit him pretty well. He's just a fastball guy, basically. His fastball is a couple of different pitches. He will cut the fastball, try to get it to move toward the first base side of home plate. He's got a very heavy 2-seamer that he'll throw that'll come down and into the righties, and also good velocity. He'll try to throw the 4-seamer by him at the letters.
Liriano versus Lynn in the Lou, and the Pirates hoping not to lose and be swept in this series. Big game coming up. First pitch is on the way.
Brought to you by Toyota. Toyota helps you get the most out of your drive. Just ask a friend who drives one. Toyota, let's go places. And by Barrel Automotive, we're driven to be better. Let's go Bucks.
It is a really spectacular night here in St. Louis, where the Pirates and Cardinals meet in the finale of the series. The Pirates will be off to New York, take on the first place club in the National League East. The weekend series that starts tomorrow night. So they have had a tough schedule, but they need to tighten things up here and get a W to stay within range of the St. Louis Cardinals. Get it down to 6 in the National League Central Division. They're 0-5 here this year. They've lost 8 straight here at Busch Stadium going back to last season, and the veteran Lance Lynn taking the baseball for the 22nd time this season. The Toyota starting lineup. We mentioned that Starling Marte is not in there with that bruised hand. Gregory Polanco will lead off, and he'll be followed by Neil Walker this time. Andrew McCutchen hits third. Jung Ho Gung will hit cleanup as Aramis Ramirez gets the night off. Pedro Alvarez is at first. Francisco Cervelli behind the plate. Travis Ishikawa will be out in left, and Sean Rodriguez will play third with Liriano on the hill.
Take a look at Lynn's numbers on the year. We've already talked about him a little bit, about his style of pitching. It's going to be a situation where you just try and center up that fastball tonight. I really like the fact that he's on the mound and Polanco at the top of the lineup is so hot right now hitting fastballs. It should really be a good matchup for the Pirates tonight. But Lynn, I mean, at least when he pitches against the rest of the league, he's as tough as they come.
And he is certainly no stranger to the Pirates. Stephen Piscotty will be playing at first base. The defense brought to you by Honda. Piscotty and Wong on the right side. Johnny Peralta, Matt Carpenter on the left side. Randall Grichuk is in left. Peter Borges in center. Jason Hayward in right. Yadier Molina does the catching. Randall Grichuk, one of the rookies that has stepped up along with recently Piscotty to help soften the blow of Matt Holliday and Matt Adams being out. Of course, that guy's such a key to the success of this pitching staff and this Cardinals team.
And John Jay also somebody that is not on the active roster. We're quite glad about that, because he always seems to be a little bit of a thorn in our side. But it hasn't mattered. They got that good pitching. That's really the story of the Cardinals this season. It's not really their offense or anything else. Their pitching is absolutely fabulous.
Talking about a historic run, really, for these Cardinals pitchers. ERA still under 3, 2.60. Even better here at Busch Stadium. Gregory Polanco has a 6-game hitting streak. 9 for his last 12 at bats against the Cardinals, and the first pitch is a strike, according to Larry Vanover, the crew chief and home plate umpire. Polanco hitting .391 against Redbirds pitching on the year. So Vanover behind the plate, and the crew chief, Vic Carapazza at first, with Adam Hammery at second, Ron Culp over at third. Chasing, 1 ball, 2 strikes. 136 punch outs and 127 innings on the year for the veteran Lance Lynn. Goes away from a breaking ball and a check swing, 2-2.
Might be able to count the breaking balls on one hand tonight that he throws. Let's see what the percentage is. Oh, another one. Well, I'm losing. He's using my hand real quick.
Still got 3 fingers here.
Yeah. This season, he throws about 5 breaking balls, curveballs, every 100 pitches.
So he's used up 2 of them.
Yeah. They're 2 in a row.
And
that's his
pitch.
Yeah, that's his
change up or whatever.
Change up that he throws.
That
But if you
remains
put
3 and 2.
If you put the change up and the curveballs together, you're still only getting about 10 out of every 100. That's how many fastballs and cut fastballs he throws. 9 out of 10.
Hit well towards center field, sending Borges back, but Borges is going to get there toward the track, and it's 1 away on a 3-2 pitch. Polanco out in left center field. It's Peter Borges. Rivers Casino tips to win.
I'll be ready to hit the fastball. That's kind of the theme of our open here, is about Lynn and how he's going to come right at him. And a good day for Liriano today. You saw his stats in this ballpark. And did you know, Greg, that this is National Left-Handers Day?
I did know that.
Oh, yeah, so it's got to be
it
a
all
win.
Works for Liriano and Polanco. Polanco hit the ball well. We'll have to watch if he doesn't have a strong game. You're not left-handed.
No,
so
but you know what I'm going to do tonight? I'm going to
Write all your notes with your left hand.
I'm going to keep the yeah. I'm going to do everything that I normally do. Except I'm going to do
all the writing you do.
I'm going to
do with your left hand.
left-handed tonight.
I hope you don't bruise that hand.
Do it left-handed tonight.
2-0 the count on Walker. So there it is. He's going to use it. What do you write with that during a ball game?
Not much.
Yeah.
That's why
I mean, what do you write? Now I know you do a lot during a game, but how much do you write during a game? Ball fouled out of play.
I'm thinking about not bringing a pen anymore.
I can count on one hand the number of times I see you jotting something down on that score sheet. One hand.
Usually what I'll do, if I do have to write something down, it's usually I have to turn it over and I'll write myself a little note. Something that I want to remind myself to look something up after the game.
I've never seen you do that. 3-1 on Walker. Walker 0 for 8 in the series.
Because you're always busy with your bale of hay.
Yeah. Bailing you out is what that is. .351 career hitter against Lynn. And that's hit well to center field. Borges is back.
Very well.
And off the wall. And Neil Walker is going to head to third base. And he is going to make it with a triple. Initially out of the box, he wasn't sure. And it's another triple for Walker.
Well, it comes at an excellent time with one out. Now he'll be at third base, and they'll have to be bringing the infield in, it looks like. Borges, who has got a reputation as being an excellent center fielder, got himself trapped right up against the wall. He could have pulled up and just played it for a double, and Walker would have had to stop. But he got himself right up against the wall.
So I think Walker thought that was gone, Bob, the way he was approaching first base there.
What he thought was it's either gone or it's a double.
Yeah, or caught.
But then when he saw the ball bounce and come back, then he knew he had three. And he had to hit the accelerator all the way to the ground, floor.
Maybe he expected Borges even to make a catch because of that outstanding defensive reputation. You see the infield is in with McCutchen at the plate. 1-1. Neil Walker's third triple. Pirates couldn't buy a triple the first couple of months of the season. Now they're coming in bunches.
It's 3 curveballs already.
All right, he's got 2 more left.
For the rest of the game, it's going to be tough.
Checks and a close pitch. Peel over there to Carapaza. McCutchen's home run last night is 18th of the year.
You know, Len, he's had problems with the Pirates. The Pirates are known to be a very good fastball hitting team.
That is smoked into left field. That was a bullet off the bat. An RBI double for McCutchen. 1-0 Pirates.
I was about to say, I wonder if Len will try to be a little different tonight than he normally is. Maybe throw more off-speed pitches.
He's had good career numbers against McCutchen, but this ball.
And look at the location. Ball was off the plate about 6 inches. That's a 2-seamer down and in. McCutchen blistered it into the corner.
77 RBIs on the year for Andrew McCutchen now. Only Paul Goldschmidt and Nolan Arenado have more runs batted in the National League. Triple for Walker. He scores. Now Jung Ho Kang, who has a 6-game hitting streak. Walker's third triple of the season gives the Pirates an early lead. Young has driven in 40. He's 3 out of 7 in the series. He's hitting .395 against Cardinal pitching this season. A nice stop made by Carpenter. A quick look and a throw that's past the first baseman, Biscotti. And Andrew McCutchen will score. It is 2-0. Matt Carpenter's 11th error of the year.
And Carpenter doesn't have the strongest arm as far as the third baseman goes. And he has to put a little extra on this one. And I think he was also worried about what McCutchen was doing at second base. Distracted by that.
McCutchen thought about it. So he scores. And Gong at second. And with just one out, it is 2-0. The error on Carpenter. Pedro Alvarez 3 for 8 in the series, and this ball is hammered towards center field. Back is Borges, clear the deck. Cannonball coming for the big bull. He loves hitting home runs against the Cardinals. It's his second homer of the series, and the Pirates open up a 4-0 lead in the first.
There's only one out.
17 on the year for Pedro Alvarez.
A bunch of fastball hitters, and that's what they're getting.
Watch Borges take a few steps, but he knows it's well out of here. Alvarez, 17 homers, 56 RBIs.
Pirates team third in all baseball on hitting 93 mile an hour or better fastballs. Off speed pitches, they're 19th. That definitely is their strength.
And Cervelli hit by a breaking pitch.
Yeah, that was just a 76 mile an hour.
He's trying something else.
Yeah, it was change up, curveball, something. It didn't do anything. So no harm done there.
Derek Lilliquist is going to make a trip.
Yeah, it looked like it was a curveball he was trying to throw. Now, if he would have just hit Cervelli with a fastball right there, then that's suspicious after giving up 4 runs with the first out. But being a breaking ball, he just, to me, looks a little rattled. And why wouldn't he be?
433-foot home run off the bat of Pedro Alvarez. Francisco Liriano figures, okay, you guys go ahead, hit the home runs.
And he's turning the offense over to the offense. Took a lot out of him to run around the bases last time.
Yeah. Travis Ishikawa getting the start in left field.
That ended up being the only at bat he had, right?
Did not last long.
Another breaking ball. He's thrown his normal game allotment of curveballs here in the first inning. But it's not really working that well.
Ishikawa, the fly ball towards shallow right. Hayward doesn't see it.
Can't see it. It's in the sun.
It's runners at first and second. Ishikawa gets a hit as the ball is lost in the sun. An unusual start time tonight. A handful of times this season the Cardinals have 6:15 Central Time starts, and that start time pays off for the Pirates.
Yeah, both hands up, which is kind of telling anybody that might be able to help him that he can't find the baseball. Looks like Borges is trying to get over there as fast as he could, but there's just no way.
The sun sets here, and the Pirates leading at 4-0, 2 on with 1 out. Here's Sean Rodriguez. Lance Lynn's third start this season against the Pirates. The first start here was a good one. May the 1st, he went 7. Gave up just a run on 4 hits against the Pirates. Sean Rodriguez getting the start at third base. So Ramos Ramirez gets the night off, and Clint Hurdle telling the media today that Ramos Ramirez will start taking ground balls over at first base tomorrow. One and two. Rodriguez 6 hits in his last 15 at bats. He was 0 for 2 last night. So taking over for Marte. Cervelli and Ishikawa aboard with 1 out.
See that shot of Lariano we just had? He's trying different bats. He's a hitter now.
He's starting to like hitting.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, let's see, which one of these do I want? Look at how many he's got out there. We brought 3 of them out.
Saturday, Liriano.
He's a golf bag out there with him, all his clubs.
Saturday hit the home run off of Matt Latos and the Dodgers. And it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Keep the pressure on Lance Lynn. Because who knows, he can find it and settle in. There have been times he has pitched well against the Pirates in the past. Second start of the year. ERA coming into tonight here at home of 2.15. It's the 8th lowest home earned run average in the National League. And a full count. He has walked 44 in 127 innings. You see the pitch count already at 32. Able to get Rodriguez to chase. Let's go downstairs to Robbie.
Well, you were talking about Francisco Liriano using all the bats. Well, last start, he hit the 3-run home run, first homer of his career. It took him until his 8th big league season, 150 at bats. But what's cool about that? Look at that bat. It wasn't even his own. It was AJ Burnett's. I asked him why he didn't use his own. He said it was too heavy. AJ's a half ounce lighter than his, so he just grabbed it. So I asked him, are you going to use your own bat tonight? And he said, no. I said, who are you going to use? He said, I don't know, whichever's lightest. And we saw a second ago, he had about 4 on the on-deck circle. So inquiring minds want to know what he's holding right now, Greg and Bob. I don't know.
And we can find out here. Ball 1 on Liriano after the strikeout of Rodriguez.
That's one of the ones that was leaning up against the wall. He didn't take that one to the on-deck circle.
That might be his. I saw Bones. Scott Bonnet, yeah, that's his. He was putting that that's called alligator skin tape on the, it's kind of a new thing, the big leagues this year, that bat handle. Came in with the new bat and asked Bones to do it at PNC Park last homestand. Two and one on Liriano.
Gator grip.
Yep.
Nothing. Grip like a gator. Right, Greg?
That's right. Well, this should be a big day for him. He's the lefty.
It's lefty day.
Yeah. National Left-Handers Day.
How many left-handers got wins today around the league?
Well, Lester.
And how many got lost?
John Lester. Anthony Rizzo hit a home run.
Beautiful, beautiful.
No, it's not beautiful.
Well, it's lefties. It's
good for the Pirates. There's a base hit for this left-hander. Coming home is Cervelli, and he is going to be safe as the ball is dropped by Molina. RBI single for Liriano. Cervelli would have been out, but Molina dropped the ball. The throw from Grichuk.
I don't know. Molina was, I don't know what the rule is anymore, but Molina was camped out in front of home plate. I mean, he built a house there, didn't he?
Slapped the other way by Liriano.
Second Gator.
His 5th hit of the season.
Look on the lens. He looked like he had a fort built.
Look at that.
In front of home plate.
Look at that. Where's the Posey rule? Well, wouldn't that have been interesting? Let's glad it didn't come to that, though.
Yeah.
Here's Polanco, just fouls. He hit that one hard. Boy, the bullpen already activated for the Cardinals. As Liriano delivers his 6th RBI of the season with his 5th hit. Tyler Lyons is up. And a 1-1 count on Polanco. He started the inning with a line out toward left center field on a 3-2 pitch. The 41st pitch is a liner to left center field and gets down. The Pirates lead 6-0 in the first inning.
Yeah, that was a soft breaking ball away.
And here comes Mike Matheny. They knock out Lance Lynn. He gets 2 outs in the first. This is what the doctor ordered for the Pirates tonight. They knock out Lance Lynn. 6 runs on 6 hits. There was an error committed. The home run by Alvarez. An early night for the bullpen. Be batting right-handed. First time up against Lance Lynn as a left-handed hitter. He tripled. Here is Tyler Lyons, his 7th appearance.
Notice they didn't bring in another right.
No, not on National Left-Handers Day.
No, they're going to try and get back into this. That's why they went lefty.
This is the first outing that he hasn't started for the Cardinals this season. Lyons. Cisco Liriano, the RBI, and now at second.
Don't stop now. Keep the line moving.
There's a line drive into left center field. Liriano will be able to walk home, thankfully. An RBI single for Neil Walker. And the Pirates lead it 7-0.
Oh, 7 runs. There's 1 score. I want to get to 10, Greg.
Tyler Lyons made a start this season against the Pirates. We take a look at Liriano being waved home by Rick Sofield. Liriano Liriano not really fleet of foot, so that was nice that he was able to score the 7th run. And here is Andrew McCutchen. How many did you want, Bob?
10.
And a strike. Tyler Lyons went 5 innings against the Pirates back in May at PNC Park. Oh, 2 count on Andrew McCutchen.
Well, they definitely have a different type of pitcher out there than they all got ready for today. A right-hander that throws fairly hard, that throws a ton of fastballs. Now they got a tricky lefty out there. Change speeds, is not a hard thrower.
McCutchen's RBI double, giving him 77 RBIs on the year. Came in the 1st inning. Francisco Liriano has been either in the dugout on the bench or on the bases for quite a while here.
Like a half hour.
Pedro Alvarez looking for a 2nd at bat in this 1st inning. The shortstop and Peralta. A Bronx cheer for the Cardinals from their fans. 7-0 after a half. Scored 6 runs in an inning against the Cardinals, as many as 6. September 4th, 2009 at PNC Park. Pedro Alvarez, the big home run. And now the Cardinals come to bat against Francisco Liriano. Mike Matheny's lineup is brought to you by Honda. Matt Carpenter, Randall Grichuk, Johnny Peralta, Jason Hayward is hitting .337 since the All-Star break. Then it's Yadier Molina, followed by Colton Wong, Stephen Piscotty, Peter Borges, and Lance Lynn. Lynn, of course, was in the lineup. Now it's Lyons. And here are Liriano's numbers.
Darn good numbers, aren't they? What a year. It's amazing to me that doesn't have more than just those 7 wins, but sometimes that's the way it goes. You're just in the wrong spot where you're not getting the run support, or
and kind of some things have unusual things have happened to him this season, including that stiff neck. He was scratched from the start, and then the start against the Cubs, he went 2 innings at PNC Park before the rains came. Last time out, just 3 innings, hit that home run. The Pirates won the game 6-5. No decision for him. Joe Blanton won in relief on Saturday.
Well, we thought there was something wrong with him.
Yeah.
At least I did. The way he was pitching, they went out and talked to him a couple of times, and he was okay. He just really was out of whack as far as his control.
A 4-pitch walk is the last thing you would want after 7 runs were scored in the top of the inning. Matt Carpenter draws the free pass.
I hope he warmed up okay.
Point Park University tweets across the bottom of your screen.
I'm sure after sitting over there, they probably told him, make sure you're good and loose before you tell the umpire you're ready.
There's a strike on Randall Grichuk. Liriano, 5 starts against the Cardinals during the regular season. Going to drop in the left field. First and second.
Grichuk's having a fine rookie year. They definitely needed him to come through with the injuries they had.
Now 2 for 9 in the series. With Carpenter having walked on 4 pitches now at second. And it brings up Johnny Peralta. Peralta, plenty of at-bats against Liriano. Both were in the American League for a while. 51 ABs, 333 career for Peralta. Two and 0, and Cervelli going to go out.
Greg, I'm not. I guess because of the last start, I'm kind of wondering about this control here early on.
Yeah.
Is this carryover, or is it just because he sat in the line there in the dugout for a half hour or something? But right now, it looks like he's kind of, to use one of your words, out of sorts. That's how he looked before.
Well, that'll help.
Yep,
Line out.
Yeah, with a 7-0 lead, I mean, you can take some liberties with the strike zone. Not like you're trying to make absolute perfect pitches every time. So you start falling behind in the count, hitting at hitters in counts. No reason for that, really. It's not necessary.
There's Jason Hayward, 2 for 7 in the series. And in the dirt. Hayward 2 for 11 lifetime versus Liriano. And it's 2-0. Trying to regroup here.
Take a deep breath.
Gets a strike.
Barely got that one in there. Yeah, you can see just nip that down and in corner. There's the slider, and you see him looking back at the mound. Watch the follow through. The ball goes high. He just kind of spins right out of his rotation.
He has walked 2, and they're loaded.
That's going to get him a visit.
This time it's Ray Searage. First visit was from his catcher.
Now, last time he was acting like he was feeling a little something. Was it his right pec?
Yes.
Right?
Yep. After a swing on Saturday, the swing before the home run. Kind of grab at it.
And he was doing that on the mound a couple of times.
And after he hit the home run, when he crossed the plate, still kind of grabbed at it. But the Pirates and Liriano after the game said no, he's fine. They'll face Yadier Molina with the bases loaded. And 1 out. The 1 out was the line drive out off the bat of Peralta.
See Ray changed spots. He stayed on the steps. We'll see a pitcher coach do that every now and then. They'll change defensive spots. You ever notice that, Greg?
Oh yeah, baseball players.
Well, you get in a spot where things are going well, and you don't move.
Yeah.
Now, if things aren't going well, you try something different. I do have to admit that the baseball players, our group, they're pretty superstitious.
Oh, you think? And some broadcasters, some former big league players.
Yeah.
1 ball, 1 strike.
Only superstitious though about baseball, not about anything else. But about baseball, yeah, I just don't like to take chances.
You're holding that pen with your left hand, by the way, early.
I know. It's National Left-Handers Day.
And it's into center field. This is going to score a couple. The throw toward third, and he is out. Jason Hayward knows that's a no-no. But his team was getting back into it. 7. It's only the first inning.
And he came to a stop, too. Maybe not a full stop, but you could see if you're watching him, he slowed down like I shouldn't be doing this, and then he had to speed up.
A 2-run single for Molina and the assist for McCutchen. The tag applied by Rodriguez. You see the reaction from Hayward. He knows it.
A good quick tag by Rodriguez. He was moving over. Yeah, that was barely in there.
Well done by Sean Rodriguez.
Nice throw, nice tag.
And now Liriano needs to get over. He will, and that'll do it.
Glad this inning's over.
Yeah, shaky. Put that pen in the right hand, will you?
Yeah, I got it now.
After 1, it's 7-2 Pirates.
All on Root Sports is brought to you by the Chevy Traverse and your Western PA Chevy dealers. And by Day Automotive. We're going to make your day. Let's go, Bucks!
7-2 Pirates lead here in St. Louis. There's some Pirate fans on hand. Mark Jewell and his wife Sue. His wife Sue is celebrating her birthday today. It's Bob Pompiani's cousin, video coach at Ambridge High School. Happy birthday to Sue and Jason Hayward. Still not happy. It turned out fine for the Pirates because it was an out at third base. And some might say, well, wait, should Andrew McCutchen have even thrown the ball to third? Because if Hayward is safe, and it was a fairly close play, then Molina ends up at second and third, just one out. But it worked out as Jung Ho Kang steps to the plate. Kang reached on a two-base error by Carpenter. And Tyler Lyons will retire Kang to start the second. Lance Lynn went 2/3 of an inning, gave up 7 runs, just 3 of them earned on 6 hits. Tyler Lyons comes on in relief, making his 7th appearance, his first out of the bullpen.
And that could be, looking back on it, Greg, one of the big moments of this game. Hayward making it out on the bases. Perfect throw and a quick tag. Got him, but still, that was a pretty big chance he took.
Strike.
Now, normally in a closer ball game, that's a no-brainer. You got to go because it's going to take a perfect throw to throw you out. With 1 out, you go. But, maybe not down by 5 runs. It's one of those things you debate after the ball game over a chicken wing or two.
Two and one. Pirates scoring 7 first-inning runs. First time they scored at least 7 on the road in the first inning since June 8th, 1989. That was in Philadelphia. They scored 10 runs. Broken bat, fly ball that's going to drop in. And Alvarez with a home run and a base hit.
I think the pitcher knocked one in that day, too.
Really? Wonder who the pitcher was. The starter, anyway. You don't know? You really don't know? Do you want me to look it up?
Guessing.
1989, 10 runs in Philadelphia. You're guessing what? Yes, just take a guess.
Call Rook, maybe he'll know.
I think maybe you were on the mound.
Could have been.
Yeah, and you knocked in a run, part of that 10-run first inning. So, congratulations. Pirates score 7 on the road. And there's a double play ball. Francisco Cervello hits into the inning-ending double play. And at the bottom of the second, 7-2 Pirates. Bottom of the first off Francisco Liriano. Francisco Cervelli hits into the Chick-fil-A double play. Pretty routine, right to Johnny Peralta, then on to Colton Wong, and then Stephen Piscotty.
Piscotty could have done a little bit better job of receiving that ball. Yeah, maybe not. The throw was wider than I thought it was. I thought he stepped kind of towards second and had the reach way to his left, but it was just a wide throw by Colton Wong.
We had an earlier birthday wish, and we missed one a couple days ago. Gabby Kendra of Newcastle turned 97. So happy birthday, and happy birthday to our associate producer, Jason Steele. That's today, isn't
31.
it? Steeltown? How about that?
31 years young.
We celebrated a little bit late dinner last night. Hopefully we'll be celebrating after a W tonight on the way to New York.
Be a wild plane ride, huh? Be a lot of sleeping.
Yeah.
on that flight tonight.
What time are we due in?
2:30 or something.
Yeah.
You have two of those.
Yes. 0-2 the count on Piscotty. A 6-game hitting streak. Bottom third of the order. Peter Borges to follow, and then Lance Lynn. And that's the way to go. Get a strikeout. Well, maybe that shaky first inning is out of the way. Jason Hayward thrown out at third. Maybe that helps. As Liriano gets the strikeout on that slider.
That's what he needs right there. That good hard slider. Get those chases. Get the whiffs. It's much easier to get those chases when you can get ahead. Get to 2 strikes. And they have to offer it that stuff then.
Peter Borges was a pinch hitter last night and struck out. One and two.
Nice change up in that time.
And back-to-back Ks.
It was just night and day from the first inning.
Nicely done there by Alvarez, by the way.
Put the ball right where he wants to.
Back-to-back Ks.
Gets ahead, throws the slider, bounces it in, down and in.
And now he'll face Tyler Lyons. Liriano's batting average against still in the top 10. Opponents hit just .209 against him. That is 7th lowest in the league. He came in 9th in strikeouts in the National League. Ray Searage moved over there. I think we'll see him next to Jeff Branson a lot now. If he gets Lyons.
Working right.
Yeah. One and two on the pitcher, Tyler Lyons, who's 3 for 10 at the plate this season. Oh, he didn't get that call.
No, that looked like it was at the top of the strike zone.
Yep.
Not that one. 95. Had some velocity on it.
Lyons spoils that one. chopper. Alvarez will keep it himself. And it's a 1-2-3 bottom of the second for Francisco Liriano. Bucks up by 5.
Set to lead off things for the Pirates. Those two have a little bit of familiarity. As we mentioned, it was last year in Game 5 of the National League Championship Series when Travis Ishikawa ended the season at the St. Louis Cardinals with the dramatic home run. Now, he's told us a story before about he doesn't remember anything after he hit past first base. It's about when he went numb right there. But he has a cool story to tell about the actual baseball he hit. There was a guy named Frank Burke, who's a transmission repairman, who's a big Giants fan. That's the guy that caught the ball. He was asked what he wanted to do with it. He said, hey, I want Travis Ishikawa to have it. He's the guy that hit it, and he deserves it. So once things calmed down after the game, the two met, and Travis gave him an autographed bat and also posed for photos. Now, Frank, as a thank you, received 4 tickets to Game 3 of the World Series, and he also threw out a ceremonial first pitch. Now, to make that moment a little special for the Giants fan, here's what Travis Ishikawa did. Not only did he catch the first pitch that he threw out, but he brought the ball that he hit for the home run for Frank to throw. What a nice gesture by Travis Ishikawa, one of the most memorable moments, certainly in Giants history and in baseball history, and also the biggest moment of Travis Ishikawa's big league career.
And what a moment it was, Robbie. A great moment in Major League Baseball, and no doubt for Travis Ishikawa. He leads things off here against the lefty Tyler Lyons. He singled off the starter Lance Lynn. Ishikawa singled and scored. Hits this one hard the other way. Can it stay fair? It is foul.
But Travis has really showed the ability to drive the ball a long ways toward that left field foul pole. He's been doing that since he put on that black and gold uniform this year.
Getting his second start in left field.
Home run to left.
Two and two.
Breaking pitch. Thank goodness it broke a little bit.
Gets him looking. Tyler Lyons strikes out Ishikawa looking. We want to see your strongest fan photo. Use the hashtag #PittDataStrongFan. You just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast. It's brought to you by T-Mobile. Coming your way from Busch Stadium, where there are Pirates fans everywhere. Bucks will be on to New York after this one. Take on the Mets. The Mets were 12-3 winners today. Noah Syndergaard was the winner over the Colorado Rockies. Nationals and Giants meeting tonight. And the Nats could fall 4.5 back. They will if the Giants beat them tonight. That's hit hard. Rick Sofield ducks out of the way. No relation to former Pirate Ducky Schofield. 1 ball, 2 strikes, the count. Lance Lynn gave up 7 runs, 3 earned. Got 2 outs. The last pitcher against the Pirates to give up that many runs, at least 7 in the first inning, was Rick Russell, then with the Chicago Cubs at Wrigley, September 16th, 1975. Big Daddy, who would later become one of the better pitchers for the Pirates. Big Daddy gave up 8 first inning runs that particular day. This just popped up. Alton Wong, 2 outs.
Well, that can happen in that ballpark on a bad day.
Tyler Lyons just recalled from the minor leagues on Friday. In relief of Lynn, now faces Liriano. Had an RBI single in that 7-run first. Now a different bat against the lefty.
Oh yeah, you have to use different bats for different pitchers, Greg.
I didn't know that. I'm sorry. Did not know that.
Different
2-0.
styles of pitchers. You have different. You know, you might have tape on one, the gator grip stuff on the next. You know, a lot of things could be different.
Yeah. And a roller to second. Easy for Wong. 1-2-3 to the Bucks. 7-2 Pirates.
That one didn't work.
Night rocks tomorrow when the Buccos take on the Mets. Get a dose of the local music scene as we highlight bands from around the burg throughout our entire Pirates broadcast. So turn up the volume. Check it out tomorrow. Buccos take on the Mets here on Root Sports. Friday Night Rocks. Pirates rock the Cardinals for 7 first-inning runs. Now going to the bottom of the third. Pirates and Cardinals will meet in 2 more series during the regular season. It'll be the Buccos here in St. Louis the first weekend of September. And then the last homestand at PNC Park. Pirates will host the Cardinals and Reds. Cardinals are beginning a homestand. They've got the Marlins coming in for the weekend, and the Giants come in next week. Matt Carpenter walked and scored in the first. Walked on 4 pitches. Base hit. Soft ground single to center.
Not much really you can do. A ball hit up the middle. You're a left-hand hitter. You're playing a little bit to the pole side.
Brings up Randall Grichuk. Grichuk singled in the first. Did he go? Yes,
he
as
did.
the home plate umpire Larry Vanover. Front now, Grichuk 1 and 2. Liriano making his 12th career start against the Cardinals. 4 and 2, a 2.42 ERA. Those are regular season starts.
Doesn't seem to be any control problems since that first inning. You think, Rick, maybe he just wasn't, ready to pitch loose after sitting in the dugout for so
watching
long?
him now, it sure makes you think that way.
Right here, he gets to 2 strikes, goes to the back foot slider, strike 3. It's like normal. I mean, he did sit in that dugout while he actually got on the bases a little bit too.
He didn't
after
pitch
the base hit.
after warming up for who knows how long, right?
Well, it was a half hour. For 30 minutes, he went from the bullpen mound until he got out on the game mound. It's like a short rain delay.
There's Johnny Peralta, lined out his first time up. There's the block by Cervelli, and quickly pounces on it. Cardinals are 16 and 14 this year when the opponent starts a left-hander.
Had gloves on. He got in front of it though. It didn't get by him.
One and one on Peralta. Cardinals hit .235 collectively against lefties, .261 against righties. 2-1 count on Peralta. 3 for 9 in the series. Chris Maloney, first base coach, talking there with Carpenter, who was chatting it up with Pedro Alvarez. And now Carpenter moves to second on the wild pitch.
Ball that Cervelli brought the glove up on, expecting the ball to bounce, and it didn't. Went right underneath it. Sometimes there'll be a little soft spot there in the dirt, cleat mark, something, and it'll stay down.
Third walk for Liriano. Be a part of Faith Night at PNC Park. Is presented by Chick-fil-A. It comes up next Thursday. Pirates are hosting the defending World Series champion Giants at 7:05. After the game, you'll hear from Clint Hurdle and some of your favorite Pirates players who will speak about how Faith has impacted their lives and their careers in baseball. Get tickets at pirates.com/Faith Night next Thursday. Here's Hayward. He walked his first time up and takes ball 1.
Greg, just as we were talking, or just as I was talking about how it looks like he's fine, that moment on, he hasn't been. Now he's back to not being able to get ahead, throw strikes. Hayward's in the driver's seat. Decided not to take advantage of it. Got a fastball on that inside corner. That's kind of like what fastball count you're looking for. Something straight and then you can turn on. You take that fastball strike 2-1, and then you end up swinging at a slider way outside the next pitch. I watch kind of stuff like that, Greg, and I think back and I think I gave hitters way too much credit.
Struck him out. Number 4 for Liriano. So you might approach things differently, you think?
Yeah, I would.
Really?
I'd throw a few more strikes myself. This is a slider. It just hanging there. It didn't really break at all.
Here's Molina, had a 2-run single in that first inning.
Just a, I mean, that's, an example of how you can throw just a really bad pitch but come out smelling like a rose.
And in the air to right, Polanco
heading over.
They strand a couple. Bucks lead at 7-2. go to the 4th inning here at Busch Stadium. Stay tuned after the game. This week's Inside Pirates Baseball. A look back at some of the greatest hitting pitchers in Pirates history. You'll hear from the likes of Rick Rhoden, Bob Walk, and other greats. Join Mark Melanson as he crosses off a bucket list item by floating over Pittsburgh via the blimp, and much more. Inside Pirates Baseball presented by Allegheny Health Network tonight after postgame on Root Sports.
Greg, I think for some reason, I can't understand, they left me off that.
Come on. Top of the order, and it'll be Gregory Polanco. Liriano shaking his head. He knows he's walked already too many.
Well, he made some bad pitches that inning, but it didn't hurt him at all. Got out of it, no problem. But you're the one that knows when you go back and you sit down in that dugout or go back to the clubhouse, whatever, and people are tapping you on the back saying, hey, good job, and you're like, hey, but you know it's like, no, it wasn't a good job.
Polanco lifts one to left. Grichuk, boy, that ball carries on Grichuk, and he makes the catch.
Came back the other way on him, too. He turned around. But also, Greg, you know, too, there's the times where no one's tapping you on the back, but you know you're pitching better than the results are. I mean, it's two-way street. You had different things. Grichuk really, those first couple steps were a little lackadaisical. Ball got all the way back almost to the fence.
He almost stumbled like he did last night.
Yeah, last night was, I'm sure, very embarrassing for him.
The ball that Andrew McCutchen hit in the 5th inning with Polanco at first. Ball that was a line drive by McCutchen, and Grichuk tried to come in and make a catch and stumbled. Went all the way to the wall for a triple. Neil Walker, the first man to greet Tyler Lyons in the 1st inning, and he is singled, driving in Liriano. He's given up 2 hits. Walker said he's feeling confident from both sides of the plate these days. Picked up RBI number 45 with an RBI single. Walker with McCutchen to follow. First Pirate to collect 2 hits in an inning since Russell Martin and Jose Tabata both did that June 6th last year against Milwaukee. Shortstop Peralta. Six straight set down by Tyler Lyons. Maryland Automotive League leaders updated. The RBI leaders in the National League. Andrew McCutchen now with 77.
Yeah, he certainly has an opportunity there to lead the league in RBIs. Would help a lot, I think, in his quest for that MVP. You lead one of the big 3 categories, and that's important. Can't overlook that.
I think he only had 83 last year.
Whether it's home runs, batting average, or RBIs.
He won the MVP 2 years ago, driving in 84. His career high the previous year, 2012, knocked in 96. He has homered 3 times in his last 6 games against these Cardinals. Carpenter hits McCutchen. The Pirates go down in order for the second consecutive inning. Still leading at 7-2. To the bottom of the fourth inning. We get to our day automotive this day in Pirates history. It was on this day on August 13th, 1969. Roberto Clemente carries the Pirates to a 10-5 win over the Giants. 3 homers, 4 for 5, 4 RBI, scores 4 runs. Jim Bunning got the win. 7 2/3 innings, gave up just a couple of earned runs on 7 hits, and Bob Moose got the last 4 outs for the save. This date in 1969. Colton Wong, broken bat, the backhand stumble, and it goes a hit because Ogong wanted to go for it
all the way,
and for some reason he pulled up.
His Gong's ball all the way. He is the shortstop. He's the captain of the infield. He's got to take that. Just like pop flies.
I mean, is it possible Walker's yelling, "I got it" there?
That would be my guess. I mean, I don't know.
I mean, it sure looked like it. He pulls up.
I mean, you can think of how difficult it was for Walker. I mean, the easier, much easier play for Jung Ho to just come in there, pick it up, and throw to first.
Strike on Scotty, who struck out in the second. I was talking recently with Neil Walker about that very subject, about what it has been like with Jung Ho Kang as his middle infield partner, because much of the season and the last few years it's been Jordy Mercer. Before that, Clint Barmas for Walker, and he said initially he would have to remind Gong occasionally about some things, but now that he's learned the league, seen just about every team, knows the hitters, he said, and he certainly understands the baseball language, and his English has gotten a whole lot better too. There was some miscommunication on that broken bat grounder by Wong, and he's aboard. Jordy Mercer and Josh Harrison.
Well, Jung Ho should have been saying, "I got it."
They are resuming their rehab assignments down in AAA. 2-2. They missed by a lot. In fact, one pitch was called a strike, one was called a ball.
Covered it up.
First one was,
well, counts right.
Yeah, that's right. And right to Walker, the flip to Gong, and on the first, he took a little too much time, or did he? Well, he's out for now. At first base, we'll see if Matheny doesn't challenge this, but look as though Gong just took an extra split second before gunning it over to Alvarez.
I think it was a little late getting to second base, and that threw everything off.
Looks like they got him. Matheny standing on the top of the dugout steps, and it is a double play. 2 away.
How long was that?
That delay?
Yeah. Did they time these?
45 seconds. Allegheny Health Network Super Bowl.
Just a couple inches.
What do you think? How long do you think, Bob?
I don't know. It's just kidding. I know that they don't time the delays.
And back to Walker.
Let's go hit.
Goes out Borges. All right. You heard him. Let's go a hit. Francisco Liriano puts up a scoreless top of the 4th.
Took place at first base. On the left is Aramis Ramirez, a career third baseman in his 18th year playing Major League Baseball with Pedro Alvarez, going over and taking some ground balls and learning how to scoop a little bit. I asked Aram what makes him open to playing this position so late in his final season.
I do whatever it takes, you know. This is my last year, and I told the manager early when I got traded here that I don't really mind about anything but winning. You know, I just want to win. That's the only thing I'm missing in this game. I think I've done pretty much everything from the personal standpoint. The only thing I'm missing is win. And if I had to go over the first and take some grounders, I don't mind that.
So, Greg and Bob, we're talking about a guy in the final 8 weeks of an 18-year Major League career, over 2,150 ball games played. He's only played 1 game at shortstop, and that was in the minor leagues before he was called up in Nashville in 1998. So Clint Hurdle did say it's just giving him a look. It's going to give him some more flexibility and some more options. So we don't know if and when he's going to play some first base, but if he's asked, he has no problem doing it.
And Robbie, you know, talking to Ramirez today about it after Clint Hurdle made the announcement, and Gong is going to be retired on the easy grounder to Biscotti, and whether Ramirez was a little bit excited, the opportunity to play a new position, kind of neat toward the end of his career, and he said, well, we'll see. It is not an easy position to play. He said, I'm willing to give it a shot if it can help us win, but no guarantees that it's going to work out. A nice attitude for sure.
Yeah, he really does have a great attitude about the whole situation in his last year. He would love to finish off his career with a team in the World Series. Be rather special for him. Guess not alone in that. There's a lot of longtime Cub players that feel that way.
And off the lefty, Pedro Alvarez singles into center field. He is 3 for 3 in his second hit off Lyons.
Breaking ball got down on the end of the bat, broke the bat, but it died a winner.
Alvarez 2 hits off the left-hander, 3 in the game, including the home run. Small sample size, but lefties hitting .350 off Tyler Lyons. And it is National Left-Handers Day. In this case, left-handed batters have the edge over the southpaw. Top of the 5th inning, and the Pirates up 7-2. It's been quiet since that 7-run first. Francisco Liriano gave up the 2 runs in the first.
The Lyons is the kind of pitcher that I think can give the Pirates a little bit of a difficult time. You know, lefties that really just changing speeds. He's not going to come at you and challenge you with fastballs.
And bounce to the shortstop. Peralta, the second for 1, the first, and the throw takes Piscotty off the bag. Cervelli hit into an inning-ending double play in the second, and here in the 5th, Peralta almost turning it into 2 with the toss to Wong.
Almost threw that other one away. That throw was very wide. Piscotty had to reach way to his left to try and, well, he did make the catch, barely.
And this right off of Molina's mitt for a pass ball.
See, that happened very often. He's not happy either. Fire that ball back to the ball boy.
Gold Glover. Pass ball right off his mitt. It's his 3rd pass ball of the season.
Was it you that asked me the question, or somebody else? Why don't they just give the catchers errors on that instead of pass balls?
I don't know. We've talked about that. No idea.
It does make a lot of sense. It's an error.
Right.
Because that's the way it's scored, basically.
Right.
It's going to be a base hit right now. It's an unearned run.
By the way, Russell Martin has the most with 17, but that's because R.A. Dickey.
Yeah, I was going to say knuckleball.
Knuckleballer.
That's the first thing. When you see a catcher with a lot of pass balls, it's like, okay, who's he catching?
Blake Swihart catches Stephen Wright of the Red Sox, and he is 2nd with 13 pass balls.
The knuckleball turned Dale Murphy into a Gold Glove center fielder in Atlanta.
Necro?
Yeah, he couldn't. Kept running back, picking him up off the backstop, and they finally put him in the outfield.
Ball 4. How did LaValliere and Slot
they did fine
with Wakefield?
Good job.
Did he need either one to be his kind of personal catcher? Or did it matter?
No.
Wow.
No, it was remarkable, but that's the way it was.
It's the first walk allowed by Lyons. Strike on Sean Rodriguez. Ball to strike. Be nice to get a run in here. 2-1 count.
You got a comfortable lead, but just for superstition's sake, I want to add on occasionally. Want to score in first, just sit on it all day, all night. Sean pulled off that off-speed pitch. Upset with himself.
Starting at third base tonight. The Ramos Ramirez on the bench. Talked about the rehabs for Jordy Mercer and Josh Harrison. Harrison playing second base tonight. Mercer at shortstop for Indy. And now 3-2. Now the pitcher, Liriano, is on deck. But he's no automatic out these days. Three and two. And popped it up. Borges. Higher strand a couple. Shots from the Allegheny Health Network Super Mode coming your way from Busch Stadium in St. Louis, Missouri. Pirates and the Cardinals. Game number 13 of the season series. The Cards have won 7 of the first 12, all 5 here. Going back to last year, the Pirates have dropped 8 straight. And including the playoffs, 2013, the Pirates have lost 19 of the last 22 here at Busch Stadium. Francisco Liriano trying to give the Pirates a big W, get them back to within 6 games of the first-place club in the National League Central.
A tough place for the Pirates to win, for sure. There haven't been too many games like this.
No.
There have been so many of those losses have been just one run, you know, things going right down to the end.
No question.
And always coming up a little short.
Time now for our Data Strong fan photo of the game. Brought to you by T-Mobile. And a Bucco fan. Looks like a home run ball during batting practice at PNC Park. Tyler Lyons takes a ball. 18 straight games between these two teams have been decided by 3 or less. Go back to your point, Bob. Mostly played this series has been 1 ball, 1 strike.
The guy at the plate right now, he's done his job trying to keep this one close tonight. I think a 0 since he's coming into this ball game.
Tyler Lyons will be retired. Ball hit to Walker.
We were talking about the importance of this game there at the beginning, you know, going either to New York, either behind by 6 or behind by 8. You know, also, you know, something that I'm sure everybody's been noticing is you look over your shoulder, the Cubs are putting some pressure on now. So this is a very big game. The Cubs probably playing as better baseball than anybody at this point.
They've won 13 of their last 14, including today's 9-2 win over the Brewers.
So, I mean, this is it's going to be good stuff here these last 6 weeks of the season.
Carpenter is retired. 2 ground balls to second. This is how it stands right now. Up to date. The Cubs winning at the moment, just a game back of the Pirates. Pirates still have the top wild card spot.
Well, the Central Division has really been the power in the National League for the last handful of years.
Yeah.
Good opportunity this year to send 3 teams to the playoffs. Still just middle of August, though. A lot can change.
Randall Grichuk, a ball and a strike. Two and one. And the battery there, Tony Cruz and Carlos Martinez. Martinez picked up the win the night before last. I was speaking of, it's only the middle of August. And still 2-2. Listening to Christopher Mad Dog Russo today on the MLB Network, he was mentioning that this is the anniversary of the 1969 Mets. August 13th is when they started an unbelievable run, winning 24 of their next 32 games. They were trailing by 9.5 games. It's the Chicago Cubs on this date in 1969. 3rd place, 9.5 back. They won 14 of 17 and 24 of 32.
A miracle.
Yeah. Speaking of this date, one of our favorites, Tom Prince, was born on this day. Princey, who's a manager at AA Altoona, and nicely done by Liriano for his second 1-2-3 inning. On to the 6th 7-2 Pirates.
circle yet, but we showed him using A.J. Burnett's bat when he hit the home run last time. He used his own bat in his first at bat. Last time up, he used Pedro Alvarez's bat. And when he was on the on-deck circle before the last out was made by Sean Rodriguez, he had Travis Ishikawa's, and guess what? He blew right by that. He went back into the bat rack, Greg and Bob, and he is once again using, let me just make sure I see it. I believe that is not Pedro's bat. I don't know. We're going to find this out. We're going to do some hard-hitting investigative journalism. That might be Ishikawa's bat again. But he did have Alvarez's bat last at bat, and there's another one sitting right here in the dugout. So who knows what he's using right now? It's a mystery to all of us, okay?
Indeed. Let's see if we can't figure it out. He bounced out against Tyler Lyons, bounced to second using a different bat than the one he had used in the first. Don't need a bat for that. Strike one. Strike two. Gregory Polanco. So a different bat every time up. Is that kind of thing you did too?
No, never.
You didn't use a different bat every time up?
I use my bat every time.
Really?
Every single time. He could have just as soon not walked up there with a bat this time. He's backing out of the box with every pitch.
And he just watches 5 pitches. That one is a called third strike.
He took one up there that he didn't want to put any marks in.
Knew he wasn't going to swing, so give me Polanco's bat. And now Polanco, who is 1 for 3.
Did take a Milt May bat up one time just because it was real big on. There was a bunt situation that. Asked you if I could use it.
Just one time.
That was the only time that I could ever remember going up with somebody else's bat.
You did it once because it was a bunt situation.
Yeah, it was a great big huge bat. 36, K44.
But just one time.
One time.
It didn't work?
No, I hit a double.
You're a superstitious guy. Why wouldn't you take that bat up again?
Well, I did go in and order a set for myself.
Oh,
that
okay.
size.
I see.
But yeah, I did. I went up there. First pitch was a wild pitch. I think it was Belliard was on, and he got to second base, and now bunts off, and I had to swing. And it was here in St. Louis, in the old ballpark.
Wow.
And ended up hitting the ball off the wall, and went in and said, "I want to order some of these bats."
Milt May, the former Pirates hitting coach, and a high fly ball to right. Hayward to the wall. Makes the catch.
Too high. Looked real good right about now coming off the bat. And Hayward goes back to the wall. Hayward is very good about getting to the wall on those fly balls, and then if he has to, he takes a step in, but he's always there so that he can jump. There's so many outfielders you see will kind of like drift back there, and then they
drift back with the ball.
Well, they think they're at the wall, and then they jump up, and then they're actually maybe 3 feet in front of it. So they're really sound fundamentally.
Gold Glover.
And to go with his athleticism, that is what makes him that Gold Glover. He's got the gold patch.
Two and one. And over is Piscotty. Makes the catch. Didn't have to pull an Anthony Rizzo there. Pirates retired in order. trying to come away with a win here in this series. And to tell you how important Clint Hurdle thinks this game is, we're in the 6th inning. And he goes with defensive changes. Sean Rodriguez to left. Jung Ho Kang from short to third. And Pedro Florimon takes over at short. That's all you need to know about what Clint Hurdle thinks, how important this game is to the Pirates. Strike one on Johnny Peralta. Peralta has lined out and walked. Oh, 0-2. Peralta, then Hayward and Molina. And looks as though Tyler Lyons is done for the night. Steve Cishek will be coming on for the 7th. And a base hit to left. Playing fantasy baseball, MLB.tv serves up real-time highlights and pitch tracking info on your out-of-market fantasy players, live or on demand on over 400 devices. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Get MLB.tv today. A leadoff hit here for Peralta. Jason Hayward has walked and struck out, and Liriano does not get a call there. It should have been a strike.
It definitely was in the strike zone, and it really changes at bats around that first pitch. It's why the Pirates, Ray Searage, he really stresses that first pitch strike.
Now it's 2-0.
Immediately get that hitter to be on the defensive a little bit.
Oh, diving stop by Alvarez. He scrambles but drops the ball. He drops the ball after making a great diving stop. And it's going to go. It's a base hit.
Yep.
How's this a base hit? Well, they give him a base hit.
And he dropped the ball running back to the bag, that's for sure.
What's interesting,
it's in his glove,
is that
as he got up and started to run, it fell out of his glove.
It's interesting that they went to this defensive mode here with Florimon at short, Kang to third, but they keep Alvarez in the ball game. And it's first and second, and now the Pirates can activate the bullpen. You know, we have got to, I'm going to make sure I remind myself to ask someone about, Alvarez seems to have trouble keeping the ball in that glove, either at third base or at first base. Someone who was watching the Pirates recently asked, and I didn't know the answer, does Alvarez, are those gloves broken in properly?
Well, at least twice this year, I think we've seen the ball actually rip through the webbing and pop out the other side. That glove looks almost brand new.
First and second, nobody out. 1-1 on Molina. Jared Hughes is up here. And now it's 3-1. There has not been an error charged to the Pirates in this game, but once again, there have been a couple of plays that have not been made, including that one by Alvarez. And now they're loaded.
That's one of the things that I was talking about with the guys earlier during the pregame show, that it's not always giving up runs too when plays don't get made. It changes who leads off next inning. Even if you get an out, it makes you throw more pitches. It really is an important part of the game that I think gets overlooked, the defense.
And again, the question is going to be asked. And I guess Marte, this answers the question. Marte is obviously not even available apparently to play defense. If he were, he'd be out there in left and Rodriguez would be playing first. So Marte apparently not a factor at all in this game. And the Pirates had to make the decision which was more important. Was it more important to have the left fielder Ishikawa, or which Ishikawa could have played first? The Pirates have said he's a better defensive first baseman than Alvarez. They could have moved Ishikawa from left to first if they wanted to put Rodriguez out there.
And if you want to go just a pure defensive move, then that would have probably been it, because you have upgraded two positions right now with Florimon at shortstop, and then putting Sean out in left field.
A pure defensive move would have had Marte in left, but he obviously apparently can't swing a bat. Ball bounced to the right side. They'll get one, and that is all. And the run scores at 7-3. RBI for Wong. And it's now a 7-3 game. Stephen Piscotty to the plate.
Well, how important now, looking back on it, was the play at third back in the first inning.
Hayward being thrown out.
If they would have got another run or two out of that inning, we'd be right back into one of those real tight games that seem to always happen here in St. Louis. Of course, it still could get that way. I mean, we're only kind of in the middle part of the game for sure right now.
One ball, one strike on Piscotty. He has struck out and hit into a double play. One and two. In the air to shallow right. Polanco will make the catch. Two down.
A good job by Polanco there. Just not. Sometimes guys will catch that ball in the outfield shallow and they'll hold on to it and look around, and Polanco just catch it, throw the ball immediately to the cutoff guy. Just get the ball out of your hands, get it at the infield, hit the cutoff guy with it. It's almost like sometimes, and I see this I think more often with guys that have big arms, is they'll hold on to it for a second like they're going to dare somebody to run. fundamental play is get rid of the ball immediately, get it to the cutoff guy.
Borges has struck out and bounced out. Mark Reynolds comes out on deck to pinch hit. One and two. On first base, Colton Wong picks up the RBI that scored Peralta. First and third, 2 outs, 1 and 2. And that'll be out of play. Borges came in a career .321 hitter against Liriano. Former Angel facing the former Twin. Two and two. Let's hope it doesn't get to this point. But speaking of career numbers, and you've got Hughes, the right-hander, ready in the bullpen, and Mark Reynolds on deck. Mark Reynolds is 1 for 21 in his career against Liriano. 0-48. Let's hope it doesn't get to that point. 2 and 2. Runner goes from first, and there'll be no throw. It's a stolen base for Wong. Picks up his 14th steal of the season. And a 3-2 count now on Borges. A base hit can make it 7-5.
There's no reason to concede that base right there. I guess Cervelli must have just thought he had no chance. No reason not to make that throw. You know, with the score 7-3 in your favor.
Popped up, and Alvarez will make the catch. Cardinals score 1, 7-3. Is brought to you by Yellowwood, and boy, the Pirates brought the lumber in the first inning Scored 7 runs. 3 of them earned, took advantage of a Matt Carpenter error. Collected 6 hits. Pedro Alvarez with a home run in the ball game. Andrew McCutchen saw the RBI double. Gregory Polanco finished off Lance Lynn with the base hit. Lance Lynn giving up the 7 runs, 3 earned. And then it was Tyler Lyons who relieved, and Lyons did a great job. 5 1/3, 3 hits, no runs. Andrew McCutchen will face the veteran Steve Cishek starting the 7th inning.
And it seems like over the years, Cardinals have always had at least one guy in that bullpen that has a little funky type delivery from one side or the other. Cishek, definitely somebody that'll kind of give you a different look as he drops down.
Acquired the last week of July from the Marlins. Cishek. After Tyler Lyons went 5 1/3 shutout innings. McCutchen 2 for 5 against Cishek in the past. Gong on deck, and then Alvarez. McCutchen RBI double in the first, and 1 for 3 in this game. Francisco Liriano might be it for him because Joaquin Soria is loosening in the Pirates bullpen.
He's got to be close to 100 pitches also. And it hasn't been really a smooth game for him. Again, there's been some miscues out there on defense. It's had to make him work a little harder than he would like.
Liriano in line to win his 8th.
Cishek, breaking ball, sidearm, sweeps the plate.
Jung Ho Kang has never seen Cishek.
I was going to say, these are the kind of guys that probably he needs to like see a couple of times before he gets up there, because they're unconventional. You know, the guys that are just, you know, over the top, maybe a little 3/4, you know, the sliders, fastballs. I mean, basically it's the same stuff. But when you have somebody that's a little bit of a funky delivery, maybe you have to see a couple before you drive onto the warning track.
We invite you to host your next special event at PNC Park. Perfect for corporate outings, weddings, bar and bat mitzvahs, and business meetings. Catering options available in the Lexus Club, the Pittsburgh Baseball Club, and the Rivertown Brewing Hall of Fame Club. For more information or to take a 360-degree tour of the venues, you can go to pirates.com/PNC Park events. The Pirates are back home Monday. Host the Diamondbacks in a 3-game series, and then a 4-game set against the San Francisco Giants starting on Thursday. Well, we'll see if the decision to keep Alvarez in the game doesn't pay off right here. Pirates deciding to give Alvarez one more at bat rather than move Ishikawa from left to first, when the decision was made to improve the defense by moving Jung Ho Kang to third, bringing in the defensive specialist Pedro Florimon, and moving Sean Rodriguez to left. And Alvarez, who made an outstanding diving stop of the ball by Hayward, then got up on his way to first, dropped it. Cishek gets the call.
Yeah, certainly did. Well outside.
Cishek strikes him out, so Alvarez goes down swinging. A couple strikeouts for Cishek. Joaquin Soria coming on.
Is brought to you by Allegheny Health Network. Health for all. By Kenny Ross. Just ask a neighbor. And by Levin's, the official furniture and mattress supplier of the Pittsburgh Pirates. For the best quality, service, and value, shop Levin's. Let's go Bucks!
7-3. Pirates leading, go to the bottom of the 7th inning. Those 7 first inning runs on the road against these Cardinals. Error by Carpenter certainly hurt the Redbirds. Joaquin Soria takes over for Liriano. Brandon Moss pinch hitting for Cishek. Defensive alignment there.
Soria's numbers as a Bucko has not given up a run yet. Still has the 0-0-0 earned run average.
Two balls, 2 strikes. Moss 1 for 3 with a home run against Soria.
I think you'd have more at-bats than that.
Yeah, surprised. And Polanco makes the catch. Almost ran out of room. Moss gave it a ride to the wall and right.
See the difference in the 2 catches?
Yep.
We were talking about Hayward getting back and then actually could move in and make a catch.
Whereas he doesn't go back to the wall like Hayward did.
He started taking little baby steps well before the wall, and then he had to jump up, and he really wasn't sure where it was at. There was a little bit of a difference on the trajectory, but really not that much. Moss hit the ball pretty high also.
Carpenter Strike. Joaquin Soria traded over from the Tigers at the deadline. Carpenter is determined to get a bunt down, and he'll get the bunt hit. Pirates were giving that to him.
I'm surprised Moss didn't do that. You know, I mean, it's 7-3. You can't hit a tying home run with nobody out. But that's the kind of player Carpenter is. He knows the game situation. I mean, from what we've seen, this guy has really got a grip on the game of baseball as far as the thinking about what do you need. Well, you're down by this many runs in the 7th inning. You need some base runners. So there it was. All you had to do was bunt the ball to third. There was no third baseman, and he would be on.
There's Randall Grichuk. And now Carpenter will move up to second. Wild pitch.
Did everything pretty well there. For some reason, that ball kicked straight left when they chest protected. What if Francisco had his upper body turned just a little bit?
Liriano went 6, gave up 3 runs on 6 hits, walked 4, and struck out 5. Soria has become the 7th inning man for the Pirates. Watson in the 8th, Melanson in the 9th. Point Park University tweet. Bob Walk, who was your favorite catcher to pitch to?
Didn't really have favorite catchers. I think probably LaValliere was the one I had most fun with as far as talking back and forth on the mound. You know, he's kind of witty, and he would come out and he always make me laugh. But
otherwise, you didn't really.
No, it didn't make any difference. I mean, I was going to shake no on all of them.
And they knew it.
LaValliere and Slot asked me one day in the dugout. They said, "Who's your favorite catcher?" 2 of them standing there. It put me on the spot.
I'll say.
So I said McClendon. And then that shut him up. Of course, Lloyd caught about maybe twice that whole year. He pretty much played first in the outfield.
Three and 2 on Grichuk. They'll stay 3 and 2. Grichuk singled and struck out twice against Liriano. Facing Joaquin Soria, who had 23 saves with the Tigers before the deal. Jose Oquendo, third base coach, longtime coach for the Cardinals, still 3 and 2 on Grichuk. One-out bunt single for Carpenter. Moved to second on the wild pitch. He's on base for the 3rd time tonight. Grichuk battling Soria. Soria got the last 2 outs of the 6th inning last night. John faced Grichuk. They gave up a pinch hit single to Mark Reynolds. Got Carpenter to fly out. Now going to discuss things here with Cervelli. Just a reminder, as you enjoy a cold one, to look forward to Miller Time later in tonight's game. Brought to you by Miller Lite. Another pop up and foul ball out of play. Soria's going to have to throw a ninth pitch here to Randall Grichuk. Grichuk has struck out 95 times this season and 280 at bats, including twice tonight against Liriano. But he walks. To avoid.
He decided to just kind of try and pick off that outside corner. Clint's going to the bullpen phone. Hughes again, maybe.
Jason Hayward is on deck. Ball one on Peralta, but this is one of those situations, and he likes to bring in Hughes now with runners on, but it's going to be Watson early.
Yeah, early, 7th inning.
Going back to what we were saying. Yeah, I wonder if Ishikawa is okay. I really do. I wonder if is it possible Ishikawa.
No, I think they just want to make a defensive move. That would be my guess.
But Ishikawa would be at first base, though. And Rodriguez.
Not if they want to keep Pedro's bat in lineup.
Well, they've done that one time. And throughout the season, when the Pirates have had the lead late. And there's a line drive, base hit in the right center field. It is 7-4. Johnny Peralta's second hit.
Tying run comes to the plate now.
In the person of Jason Hayward, and Ray Searage is going to go to the mound.
Well, Watson not for Hayward.
Hayward is 1 for 8 in his career against Watson. Peralta hits about .350 in his career against Soria after that line drive. And now, with just one out, Hayward coming to the plate. Grichuk at second. Peralta at first. A 7-4 game. Hayward was credited, use that term lightly, with an infield hit his last time up. He's also walked and struck out. Cost Liriano an earned run, the official score giving Hayward a base hit on a ball that Alvarez, initially making a fine stop on his way to the bag, dropped it. 0-1 on Hayward. Ball, one strike. Little broken bat, drops it, and now they're loaded.
shoulder high. Got hit right on the label with it. That came shattered anyway.
That is going to be it.
Molina's a pretty good candidate, don't you think, for a double play?
Tony Watson will be coming on, and now Michael Morse is going to take over at first base for Pedro Alvarez. Tony Watson going to try and get a few outs here.
The Pittsburgh Pirates and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Nissan Road ahead. Pirates take on the Mets in New York. 3-game series starts tomorrow night. Jay Happ makes his second Pirate start against Bartolo Colon. Saturday night, it's Charlie Morton against Jonathan Neese, and then Jeff Locke on Sunday against Matt Harvey. Michael Morse takes over at first in a double switch. He'll be due up fourth in the 8th inning, and Tony Watson going to try and get 5 outs. Right now it's Yadier Molina stepping to the plate. The chance of Yadi from 41,500 watching their Cardinals come back from a 7-0 deficit to score 2 in the first, 1 in the 6th, 1 here in the 7th. As we said, Molina is 1 for 10 lifetime against Watson.
Firm ground ball. Might have somebody.
Over third base, Grichuk walked. Peralta singled in a run, and Hayward with a base hit. Broken bat single off Soria. Molina had a 2-run single in the first off of Francisco Liriano. He flied out in the 3rd inning, and he walked in the 6th. And a fly ball to left. This will be a sacrifice fly, make it 7-5. 2 outs.
Well, it wasn't double play, but at this point of the game, you'll take that trade. Out for a run, still up by 2. Tried to jam him, and Molina able to keep his hands in close to his body and get the head of the bat to the baseball to hit it far enough to get the run home. And now you're lefty on lefty. Starts him off with just a little breaking ball for strike 1. We'll get ahead pitch.
Oh, and 2. Tony Watson to be asked to get 5 outs. Not working out the way the Pirates had drawn up this scenario. The Pirates had Joaquin Soria start this 7th inning, hoping to have him pitch the 7th, Watson the 8th, Melancon the 9th. But this very important ball game, Pirates cannot afford to let this one get away. Starting the day 7 back of the Cardinals in the Central. And 2 on Wong. Tony Watson comes on to get the last 2 outs. The Cardinals have crept within 2. On to the 8th. August 21st, Free Shirt Friday. Compliments of Allegheny Health Network. The fun starts on Federal Street during the Friday night block party presented by Barrel Automotive with live entertainment, food, and you make sure you stop by the Leinenkugel Bar. For tickets, go to pirates.com/Free Shirt Friday. That's 1 week from tomorrow. It'll be game 2 of the 4-game series against the Giants. Mark Melancon modeling that free shirt that you'll receive. UPMC scoreboard, it is now 7-5. Pirates scoring 7 in the first. And here is Jonathan Broxton, who Pirate fans know has had his problems over the years.
And this season.
Yeah, of his appearances this year, 3 scoreless appearances and 1 not so good against the Pirates.
Look at that ERA.
Defensive changes we'll get to here in a moment. Broxton facing Cervelli. A strike acquired from the Brewers at the deadline. Brandon Moss over at first base. And a pop up. Hayward for the out. Broxton gets Cervelli to fly to right field. Jonathan Broxton. Now with Piscotty moving from first to left. Pedro Florimon. Now at the plate, Randall Grichuk moves from left to center. Florimon 1 hit and 11 at bats, switch hitter.
Sure feel better if we could figure out a way to punch at least one more run over the plate tonight. Get more and more like have to try and make that opening 7 spot stand up.
Florimon trying to bunt it past Broxton and instead bunts it right to him. Two outs now. Sean Rodriguez. Broxton's troubles have against the Pirates have come since he moved from the Dodgers. As years with the Reds, not kind against the Pirates. Recently with Milwaukee.
At one time he was a much harder thrower than he is now. His earlier days. He was one of those upper 90s guys that could just at times just rear back and just go right at you with fastball. Let velocity do its work.
And a bouncer to short. 1, 2, 3. Top of the 8th inning for Broxton. series against the Mets. Join us from Citi Field tomorrow starting at 6:30 with Pirates pregame presented by WB Mason on Root Sports. Well, I guess we should never expected this to be a laugher. These games just aren't ever easy. And the first pitch, Piscotty fouls off against Tony Watson. Watson got the last 2 outs in the 7th. This is the 4th time this season that Clint Hurdle has asked Watson to pitch more than an inning. And to right field, Polanco. 1 out.
Sometimes you get in these late season games like this with a lot of chips in the table. You got to ask these guys to maybe step up and do a little more.
Last time Tony Watson pitched more than an inning, go back to May 15th. He pitched 2 scoreless innings against the Chicago Cubs. Also pitched 1 1/3 innings against these Cardinals on May the 1st here at Busch Stadium. And back on April the 22nd, 2 innings against the Cubs. Mark Reynolds pinch hitting. 0-1. Up and in. Reynolds, .226 hitter, 9 homers, 35 RBIs. Three and 1. Brandon Moss, who pinch hit last inning, stayed in the game to play first base, on deck. Oh, rattles Cervelli's cage a bit. 3 and 2.
We see a lot of foul tips nowadays, especially with the slow motion that we have. Seems to me the ones that hit out on the kind of the edge of the mass are the ones that bother the catchers the most. It really centers right in the middle. Yeah, they don't really react to it, but ones on the edge they'll turn their head, or in this case, it hit up kind of toward the top a little bit, moved it back. You don't see a big difference in the catching masks that you used to. I know basically now you have 2 kinds, the hockey style and those. Used to be a lot of variety. You guys would use different kinds.
Reynolds pops up the changeup. 2 outs.
Got very popular there for a while to modify them with a piece of shin guard or something that would hang down to keep the ball off the throat.
Saw a shot of Mike Matheny. Of course, concussions basically forced him to retire. Moss almost clipped by that pitch. Former Gold Glove catcher Mike Matheny taking over for Tony La Russa as the skipper of these Cardinals, and best record in baseball.
Well, they haven't missed a beat, have they?
Not at all. Hall of Famer. Now running the show in Phoenix, and we'll see those Diamondbacks on Monday at PNC Park. And 3-0 on Moss. Brandon Moss, acquired from Cleveland. 33 at bats, 5 hits with the Cardinals. In on him and a roller. And on to first. And that's what you call elementary, Mr. Watson, settling things down. 5 up, 5 down for Tony Watson. Showdown series, Pirates at Cardinals. Cardinals winning the first 2 games of this one by scores of 4-3 and 4-2. The Pirates scoring 7 first-inning runs. That's held up so far. The Cardinals scored 2 in the first, 1 in the 6th, 2 in the 7th. Over 41,000 on hand. Now Seth Maness becomes the 5th pitcher to work for the Cardinals. Jonathan Broxton, a 1-2-3-8. 10 straight Pirates have been retired. Michael Morse is his first at bat tonight. Mark Reynolds, who pinch hit, stays in the game to play first. Well, Bob, so far the fact that it is National Left-Handers Day has paid off for the pitchers that throw from the left side, as you predicted.
Yes.
Liriano.
It's easy prediction, Greg.
Tyler Lyons and Watson and Michael Morse, a base hit to right field.
Hit it through the, I was going to say the left side of the infield, but I guess it depends on if you're playing out there or not. I've always wondered about that, you know, the left and right. It doesn't make any sense the way they've named it, set it up.
Let's not change that, by the way. Starling Marte is going to pinch run.
No, we won't change it, but they should have thought about that when they originally gave the names.
That should not be the right side of the infield. Marte pinch running for Morse. He did not start tonight because of a bruised left hand. end up seeing Marte in left, and Rodriguez will end up playing first. Gregory Polanco, last time up, sent a ball to the wall in right. Two and 0.
Could be the inning. We get some insurance.
Ball 3. Manus last worked in Milwaukee on Sunday. Follows Lance Lynn, who gave up the 7 runs, 3 earned. Tyler Lyons, Steve Cishek, and Jonathan Broxton. Polanco was 1 for 2 against Lynn. An RBI single in the first inning. Walker on deck. And it's first and second and nobody out. And we rarely see Neil Walker try to bunt, but he is 1 for 12 in his career against Seth Maness. See what Clint Hurdle asks of Neil Walker. Trying to get an insurance run in.
Well, the Cardinals think he might bunt.
He had 1 successful bunt last year.
And on the corners.
And he's not bunting. Carpenter in at third. Now Reynolds backs up at first. Ball, 1 strike. Career numbers there against Maness. Two and 1. Lefties hit .333 off of Maness this year. Pirates have seen him a handful of times this season.
Not a real hard thrower. Tries to move the ball around a little bit.
Double play specialist. Drive to right center field. Hayward is back, and it is off the wall. A double for Neil Walker brings home Starling Marte. And a big insurance run, and the Pirates aren't done. It's 8-5.
An absolute huge hit by Walker. Pounded that ball.
Neil Walker's
got a ball that was down. This is not an easy ball to get in the air.
His 3rd hit of the game.
Ball was on the outside half of the plate and either right at the knees, maybe just half inch or so below him. He went down and golfed it up into the air. Hard into the air.
Now they'll intentionally walk McCutchen, $5 as Neil Walker collects his 2nd RBI of the game and 3rd hit. He's tripled, singled, and doubled. Neil Walker's 8th 3-hit game of the year. Jung Ho Kang is going to come up with the bases loaded. He could put the finishing touches on this one with a big swing. Manis has not retired a batter. Single by Michael Morse, the walk to Polanco, the Walker double. Checking the record books to find out when the last time a Pirate switch hitter had a hit from each side of the plate in the same inning as Walker did in the first. His triple came against the righty Lynn. His single came off the lefty Lyons. And it's at least since 1965. Strike called on Gong, and the infield is in. Cannot afford to give up another run. And bounced, and Carpenter couldn't find it initially. Now throws, and an out call at first. The Pirates
double play.
Get a run.
You stepped on third before he threw.
Oh yeah, but if Pirates get a run,
yeah.
And Carpenter, does he think that's 3 outs?
No.
Where is he headed?
I don't know.
He was headed off the field. Carpenter thought that was an inning-ending double play. And now the Pirates might challenge the call at first. But Carpenter initially can't find it. There's the out. Thinks of throwing home instead to first. That's a bang-bang play, and the Pirates are going to challenge it. Pirates now lead at 9-5. As Gong gets the ground ball, the Allegheny Health Network Supermo. The first base umpire is Vic Carapazza. Polanco scores.
I don't think they're going to overturn it. It's awfully close, but to overturn, I don't know.
It'll either be first and second, 1 out, or a runner at second and 2 outs, but they will not change the score. That was quick. He is out. Double play, 5-3. No RBI for Gong. And another look. Carpenter had that ball come up on him off his glove. Settled right there at his feet. Now Ramos Ramirez pinch hitting for Watson. And a base hit into right field.
Did you see Wong?
Yes, Wong went the other way. McCutchen scores. It is 10-5. Pinch hit RBI single for Ramos Ramirez.
Wong he broke right, balls to his left.
That was
bizarre. Really weird. I just didn't see it right for whatever reason. He saw that ball as a ground ball up the middle. It was to his left.
Well, that takes the save away from Melanson, but the way this game was going, I think all the Pirates are maybe exhale a little bit, sigh of relief, and it was getting close. As Cervelli hits this the other way and drops in fair territory, but unfortunately it drops out of play. So Cervelli has the double. Ramirez will stop at third. This is looking a lot like the first inning.
Yep. It's going to end the same way it started. That game's pretty much over now.
Cervelli with his first hit. A double to right, and now Pedro Florimoni tried to bunt against Broxton his last time. 12 doubles on the year for Cervelli. Pedro Florimon, first half of the season down in the minor leagues. Time with the Minnesota Twins.
This game is going to put a little bit of a dent, not much because it's so late in the year, but in that sparkling ERA of the Cardinals.
Lynn gave up 7, 3 earned. Two-thirds of an
only
inning.
3 of them were.
Yeah.
Oh, well, it won't hurt him at all.
Manus has given up 3.
6 earned runs, no big deal. That won't even be noticed.
Now they're going to get Caminero up.
Melanson hadn't pitched in a couple of days, so.
I guess they're thinking that if it stays 5, that Melanson will pitch, but maybe if the Pirates get 2 more, they'll go to Caminero.
Florimon fouling a few off, giving Caminero some time.
$13 hits now for the Pirates. And now 3-2. Mike Matheny might go back to another reliever if Manus loses Florimon. Fly ball to right. Hayward. The Buccos, however, pick up 3 big insurance runs, have 8 men to the plate, and lead 10-5. Cardinals in the Central, snapping an 8-game losing streak here at Busch Stadium. Starling Marte, who pinch ran for Michael Morse, stays in the game to play left. Sean Rodriguez moves from left to first.
So Greg, 3 outs to get, but pretty confident right now, and this is really a big, important win for the Pirates.
Like we weren't going to call it a must-win before the game.
Only if we won. We're not dummies.
That's right. Martin Melanson, his first outing since Saturday. Obviously not a safe situation. looking for 3 quick outs because you'd like to have him available for all 3 games if you can against.
It's going to be my answer from now on.
That's
Somebody
right.
asked me about a must win. I'm going to say, I'll tell you after we win it.
I like it. He's ready.
Cool looking mask.
Matt Carpenter.
Does it look like Carpenter's further off the plate than he's been all night?
Yeah, I think so.
Doesn't want that
cutter.
Yeah, doesn't want that cutter on his hands.
That's a pretty smart move. Liner to left. Marte is there. A line out. Marte talking about the lights. Andrew McCutchen.
Pointed right at him.
Hopefully Marte will be ready to hit tomorrow in New York. Grichuk was 1 for 3 against Liriano, who will improve to 8-6. What a job by Tony Watson. So things were to get away from the Pirates a bit in that 7th inning. 2 runs were in, 3 hits off Soria. Watson came on, got the last 2 outs, and then 1, 2, 3, 8.
Yeah, if the save role was a kind of a different situation.
That's a save there.
Yeah, you would give him that. You know how you can kind of, when it started as a go 5, you give the win to whoever you think is did the best job and is deserving. Well, if the save rule was like that, there won't be a save tonight because there's a 5-run lead. But now when Watson came in and pitched, the game was in the balance, and he just got it done. It's kind of a tough thing. Sometimes those the guys that pitch the 7 and the 8, their peers, everybody I think gives them the proper credit, but there really is nothing official. No, nothing they can like go to arbitration with.
Yeah, exactly.
Say, hey, look at all these
right.
numbers I got right here.
1 out away from getting their first win here. They would improve to 6-7 in the season series. Big night for Neil Walker.
Oh, a big hit. That last one was.
Oh man, RBI double. A night, 3 for 5 night for him.
Let everyone take a deep breath here for the 9th inning.
And now Peralta, of course, Andrew McCutchen always in the middle of it. He had the RBI double in the first inning.
Yeah, but the big throw into third base that kind of threw some cold water on a little bit of a fire they had going there in the first inning. Getting that out at third.
And Polanco coming in and raise the Jolly Roger in St. Louis. First time we've been able to do that this year and move to within 6 games. The Pirates a must win, and they got it done.
Yeah, they did. They came out with their fastball hitting shoes on in that first inning, and really just did a great job going after Lance Lynn and putting that 7 spot up. And you thought at that point that maybe it was just going to be, as you said, kind of a laugh or we kind of cruise to victory, but it did get tight. They found a way to make a game of it late. But then at the top of the 9th, really thanks to Walker's big hit, they were able to put it away, and really not much going on here in the bottom of the 9th. Just waiting to get the game over with and get the Jolly Roger up to the top of the flagpole.
And moved within 6 games of the Cardinals in the Central. So on to New York. A lot more to talk about. We'll go back to the studios and Robin Teague.